Okay, looks like we are ready for the show. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
I'm in Dr. Wubbolding's house, and they are ready. So this is Dr. Wubbolding.
Greetings, everyone who's watching the video on reality therapy.
Yeah, and there's the famous best assistant for our reality therapy center,
Sandie.
Good
to see you.
The famous wife.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be in there. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so this is the book I just published in March 2018. The rest of them, Dr. Wubbolding and Sandie, they put this all together. So that's why I want to interview them, because they are so important for the development in the reality therapy. Okay, so let's start it. Okay, the first question, actually, people always curious about why we call choice theory and reality therapy. Okay, so can you give us some explanation?
All right, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do this. It's very nice of you to come a pretty good distance to conduct this interview. And I appreciate your commitment and your willingness to share this information around the world. And thank you for the question about the choice theory and reality therapy, because these two can get confused.
Yes. So what's the answer?
So the answer is that choice theory is the explanation of human behavior. It's how the human mind functions.
So that's man's behavior, mind's function?
It's why people do what they do.
Oh.
Reality therapy is what you do to make some changes in your life. How to do it and how to help people make some changes. Let me make this very clear, because Glasser, the founder of reality therapy, said that choice theory is like the train track.
Okay.
And reality therapy is the train. You need both. The train track gives the sense of direction, and the train is the vehicle which delivers the product. So choice theory explains how people function, and then reality therapy tells you what to do about it.
So then, because you have a new book called Change,
Yes.
Reality Therapy and Self-Evaluation, the key to climate change. When it is published?
2017.
2017.
Published by the American Counseling Association, which is the premier U.S. organization for counseling.
Okay, so actually it's important because we may curious about why reality therapy. Give us your connection with
My connection.
From early time, as early as you want.
Sure. Well, I have always been a person who's thought we ought to do something about how we live and to try to improve it. So after I finished my doctorate a few decades ago, I went to some different training seminars, and one was on behaviorism, Adlerian, rational emotive, and I went to Youngstown, Ohio for a 2-day program put on by a man named Ed Ford, who was living in Youngstown at the time, and I just liked that one the best. And so I asked him, where do you go for more information? And so he said most of the training was conducted in Los Angeles by Glasser himself. So I just kept going for different trainings out there. I went 4 times in 1 year. For example, in other years I went also.
What made you finally decide, okay, this?
Well, I just decided I liked it because I liked the method, and as I observed Glasser do it. And so I said, that's for me.
So then you created.
Well, then I was able to attend the first certification week in Los Angeles. I was on my way to teach in Japan, and I went through Los Angeles, and I was certified when I left there.
It's in which year?
1975.
Then you become certified.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I became an instructor, and then he asked me to be director of training for his organization.
So then at that time, it's all in California. right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the training was in California.
Okay, and how do you decide to form a center in Cincinnati?
Well, then he started having trainings around the country, and they were 4.5 days at that time.
Yeah.
And so he appointed me to be an instructor when I came back from Japan.
Okay.
And then I started doing it here, and I used the name Center for Reality Therapy, which he endorsed. Okay.
Okay.
And then I just thought, well, I could write a book.
Yeah.
And I wrote a book. It's not here, but it's called Using Reality Therapy in 1988.
I helped to type it.
Yeah, this one. Okay, let's come to introduce this lady. Sandie Wubbolding is the lover and the wife.
Yeah.
So how long you guys have been married?
37 years.
And I'm only 39 years old, right?
You are the best editor
Right.
and typer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us about? I know when you are editing, typing, you have feeling for the theory, right? You're also part of the instructor, also training.
Practicum supervisor.
Yeah. What's your feeling about reality therapy? It's really as good as what he said.
Oh, it's wonderful. We were married in November of 1982, and he put on, he invited Dr. Glasser to speak, so I was on the committee. And then I thought, I better learn reality therapy. So that summer, I studied reality therapy for the first time.
Oh. Wow. I said this is the model of the wife. So then you guys have the same topic.
Yes, and he's the thinker and the creator. He sees the whole picture. His mind goes everywhere, and I do the details. I bring him down to the present. And we go to workshops all the time, the reality therapy workshops, then the conventions. And he keeps reading and I keep reading. So it's a continuous, ongoing study and development.
So let's jump a little bit. So where did you see the reality therapy go?
Where did I see it go?
Yeah.
Well,
because you guys keep thinking, right?
Well, I think what I have tried to do and committed myself to doing in this field is to get reality therapy in the mainstream of counseling systems.
Okay.
Respected in the professions.
I thought already mainstream. You want to be even more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Long time it was not even included in the textbooks.
Oh. Do you know I learned reality therapy when I'm undergraduate in Taiwan?
Did you?
Yeah. So we include that.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Yes.
Yes.
I learned it in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
Good.
Yeah. But actually, my idea a little bit different when I learned there than when I learned from you guys.
Yeah.
Because when I learned there, I feel the theory a little bit strict. Because I just remember it's no excuse.
Yeah.
And I don't really know the really human touch part.
Yeah.
But then after I get you guys training, I start to realize, no, this is real good stuff. We should not be misunderstanding that part.
I think there is still some of that.
Yeah.
Some of that harshness that people think reality therapy is.
Yeah. That because different people preach the theory.
Yeah. I think the theory is not harsh. The delivery system is not harsh.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be used by people who are a little bit forceful.
So can you tell us a little bit about what did you remember or impress about Dr. William Glasser?
Yeah, good. I want to give full credit to William Glasser, who was a psychiatrist. He died in the year 2013, August 23rd. And he was trained in the traditional methods of psychiatry and worked in a mental hospital as a young intern, and decided that holding people responsible and stressing the fact that many of their behaviors were chosen, he decided that was more effective. And he worked this out with his supervisor, Dr. Harrington. He always would quote Dr. Harrington. Even in his later years, Glasser referred to him as my teacher. his teacher, Dr. Harrington. And so he developed his ideas in the setting of a mental hospital and a correctional institution. Right, and then as he developed it there, he was asked to give lectures, and he lectured on the theory and the method throughout California, and then his reputation spread throughout North America and subsequently throughout the world. So now, skipping ahead, we have institutes around the world, in South Africa, in Korea, in Japan, in Singapore, in Ireland, I mean all over, North Africa. I've been to Kuwait myself 3 or 4 times, and now we have John Brackell, who lives in the United Kingdom, who goes to Kuwait often, and he just returned from Hong Kong. And so he's a close associate of mine, and so it's spread, and there are these, as I say, these organizations around that take their inspiration from Dr. Glasser.
Yeah. So maybe let me ask you a question. So a lot of people have a curious about that one point that Dr. Glasser hated medication, right? He didn't like, he said the symptom is a excuse. Then he didn't really agree with medication. What do you think about this way?
Yeah, I get that question quite a bit, Fang-Mei, about medication, because he did say some kind of negative things about medication, and he was not let's say, thrilled with the idea of giving medication to people.
Yeah. So how about you?
Well, I'm a counselor, and I also have a psychology license, so I'm not a medical person. So regardless of my own personal opinion, we in the field who are not psychiatrists, and this is very important that people understand this, we need to be aware of what's called the standard of practice, or the scope of practice, the standard of care. We cannot tell people not to take their medication. Medical therapy is a legitimate form of therapy, regardless of whether I like it or regardless of anybody likes it. And so I have referred people for medication. Why? Not because, well, we know that many people are over-medicated. That's not the point. The point is that they have a right to be checked as far as whether they need medication. And I recommend we not violate people's rights. And we refer them when necessary. But that doesn't mean we think that's the main therapy. In other words, who do the work in the field, in the grassroots level, your students, and your practitioners that you've trained, they have a responsibility that goes beyond any theory. For example, to know that some of their clients might need some medication. So if somebody asks me, should I take this medication? I say, I don't know. Check with your doctor.
Okay, that's a very good answer. If we don't know, we say we don't know.
Right. And if they say, well, do you have an opinion? I say, I have no opinion.
Let's switch to another, about the choice, right? Because this theory, based on the choice theory, but if everything is determined by your choice.
Oh, good.
Right?
That is a second major point in reality therapy, is this idea of choosing.
Actually, I can say I decided to come to your training a couple years ago. That's how I get to know you guys. So then that's how I can interview you guys today. So that choice made me come today. So when I first time get the brochure, I said, I already know therapy. I don't need to get training. But then finally I said, if they keep sending me, there must be a message. So I respond. So I came to the training, I get new insight, get to know you guys, and that's part of my choice. Okay, tell us more.
So those are clear choices.
Yeah.
Now, when a person gets depressed, is that a choice? Well, there may be some element of choice. But I suggest do not tell clients they're choosing their feelings. Because that is, I'm just giving you my opinion now. I think that adds to the problem.
So then what should we do?
But we can ask them, when you feel bad, what do you do? What are you doing? So we try to take that emphasis on their feelings and translate it into action.
Ask them, what do you do when you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us the car, how the car relates to
Well,
this.
the car represents 4 components of behavior. Your actions, your thinking, your emotions or your feelings, and your physiology. Feelings are like, they're very important because they come to the surface very quickly. But when a person is caught up in their resentment or their anger or their depression or whatever it may be, the feelings of loneliness, they don't just say, well, I'll feel better or I'll decide to not feel upset. No, we need to help them make some action choices.
Okay.
And so very often a person who is depressed sits around and they don't do anything and they lack energy.
Yeah.
But people don't choose their feelings in the sense of saying, today I'm going to feel good. Today I'm going to feel bad. So we aim at helping them do something that brings them joy.
You help them to choose what they are going to do.
Yes.
And they will impact and influence their feeling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is their third point. So what's the third
Are
point?
you ready for the third
Yes.
point?
Are you guys ready for the third point?
Yes. If you're watching this, everyone say yes.
Say yes. Yes.
Okay. So the third point, and these are controversial points within the reality therapy organization and within the thinking of many people.
Yeah.
So the third point is, what is the role of past behavior? The question is, do we ever talk about it? And some people say, oh, I don't want to talk about the past, we're only going to talk about the present. Well, I refer to a famous quote by an American novelist, William Faulkner. He said, the past is never dead.
The past is never
dead.
Never dead.
In fact, it is never past. That may be.
Okay, let's say one more time.
The past is never dead.
The past is never dead.
In fact, it is not even past.
In fact, it's not even past.
Take a person who has suffered a trauma, perhaps child abuse in their early years or warfare. During war, they suffer. Their thinking about it and their feelings about it are very current. And there are many ways to treat this. Some people will have them recount the incident again. Some people will have them tell the story. Reality therapy, a good way to treat this, not the only way, but to talk about how that impacts your life now. In other words, suppose you were in a war and you witnessed terrible things, and you come home and they have a lot of problems. Some people, not all of them, but some veterans have a lot of problems when they come home. I would not suggest ignoring the past. If you want to tell me about it, I'll listen. But also we would say, if this did not bother you so much, what would you be doing? Reality therapy can't make every problem disappear, but we can help such a person improve, get better. So that's what I mean by past behavior and how it relates to the present, because there's a line in a novel by Agatha Christie.
That's another one.
Yeah.
But if you listen carefully, another good quote is coming.
Okay. Hercule Poirot, he's a detective. He said, the sins of the past cast a long shadow. Now I'm not saying we keep talking about the past endlessly.
Yeah.
But we have to at least acknowledge it.
That's very important.
Yeah, so those I think are 3 kind of controversial issues, but I think they're quite reconcilable with reality therapy.
So then, I know in his Glasses book, he keep talking about we should keep every words into ing as we continue. Can you tell us more?
Well, he liked that idea to teach that these are behaviors. They're not static conditions. But most people don't talk like that. They just say depression.
Why he want to emphasize ing?
He wanted to emphasize it as a behavior, something that's happening.
Okay.
You know, you're not just depressed, you're generating from the inside these feelings.
So does that mean you can change it if you want because it's continuous?
Yeah, it's an active kind of thing, and so you can change it. But how do you change the feelings? Through the doing.
Yeah. Did you agree that point too yourself?
Do I agree?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So
I don't disagree with anything that in reality therapy, but I think we have to adapt it, extend it, and a few things. I mean, the basic theory and the delivery system are more important than some of these side issues. But students and many people pick up on the side issues like medication. And they think, well, that's essential to reality therapy to be against medication, and it is not.
So what field people use reality therapy in here right now?
What field?
Yeah, I know in the counseling, right?
Oh, in counseling especially.
Yeah. And what else?
Applied to addictions, applied to trauma, applied to general relationship problems in families.
Teaching and nursing.
Okay.
Teaching in nursing?
Yeah.
Nursing.
Okay. So if people want to learn reality therapy, where they should start it?
I think they should read one of my books, first of all.
It's very important.
Oh, I think it is, especially the most recent one, because there's a lot of cases, dialogues. But more than that, or simultaneously with that, is to attend some training workshops. Because in those workshops, you hear a person talk about it, and then you practice. So in that way, it has become very widely used and widely practiced because many people have attended these training workshops around the world.
So now you have been working for, you guys devoted this for 30 years, right? 30 something.
At least. Maybe more.
If your life is from the beginning, are you still choose reality therapy?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
I've written 17 books with the help of my wife, of course, and so obviously we're committed to it.
Yeah. So any more book coming?
I'm working on one.
Working on one. Okay. How long take you to finish one book?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
This one took 2 years. This one took 3 years. Took 7 years, and this took about 2 years. It was published in England. So, and the one book is my training booklet. I don't know how long that took.
Okay.
But so these are they take time. Now some people can write faster than that. So not everybody is as slow as I am.
So how often you talk about reality therapy?
Every day.
You say every day?
Oh, I think every day. Sure.
Every day.
Sure.
You apply that to your life?
Yeah, we're like anybody else. We try, but sometimes we fail.
Yeah.
Nobody does this perfectly.
Nobody. Can you give us a little bit about WDEP?
I can.
Okay.
Well, I think it's become a widespread way to teach reality therapy. And what I've tried to do, having been a teacher all my life, is formulate the delivery system of reality therapy in a way people can remember it.
So let's start with W.
And the W represents exploring with the client or clients in a group everything that they want, what they want that they're getting, what they want that they're not getting, and what they want intensely, what they can settle for, a lot of different aspects. But it also stands for their perceptions, how they see the world around them, and especially where they see their control, inside or outside. But some people have an external sense of control. Everything is beyond them. Our goal is to help them see that they have more control than they think they have. And then the D is, what are you doing for doing? But D stands for action, thinking, feeling, and physiology.
D is the car.
It's like the car. So, and then the E, the E is for self-evaluation. And I wrote that that's the key to client change because that's what Glasser said it was.
Okay.
So if the reason it is so important is that people tend to repeat the same behavior even though it's not helping them.
So that's why we need to evaluate ourselves.
I use the example of a person who misplaces their car keys or anything else, but that's a good example. And what we do as human beings is look for them over and over again in the same place. And the question is this working? And if it's not working, try something else. So now we all do that, I think, as human beings, but people who are in some kind of emotional trouble do it more. Do what does not work. For example, if I talk to a parent and they have trouble with their children, I will ask them, do you argue and do you blame your son or daughter? Do you criticize? And oftentimes they'll say yes. Of course I argue with them. You talk, this is a longer conversation. And then the question is that getting you where you want to go? Does that help your relationship? Does it get them to change? And usually they'll see that no, it doesn't help. And the key question is, if what you're doing is not working, do you want to do something else? And then that's the plan of action. So we try to aim at helping them make a plan, even the first time we talk to somebody. But maybe we can't get that far, but the idea is with the WDEP, it provides a structure for where we're going. It's like a roadmap. I want to say one more thing about a very important aspect. There is something we call the therapeutic alliance, made up of three things which fit quite nicely with reality therapy. First is the relationship. And this is at the heart and soul of effective reality therapy. Does the client or do the students, if it's a class, do they feel connected with us? And then, can we agree on goals for this process of counseling or teaching or whatever it may be, goals. And then strategies for getting to those goals. So there's the relationship and the agreed upon goals, and then agreed upon strategies or steps to get there.
How about if whatever we think should be good for client, but client disagree, what should we do?
It can happen.
Yeah.
And what we do is ask them if they think what they're doing is really and truly helping them. And it depends on our relationship. One thing is, I can help you if you're willing to make a few changes, at least temporarily. You know, when you go to the family physician, if you don't want to do what they say, don't go. But most people will do what they say.
Okay.
At least they say they intend to do it.
So then in the case you say, then if you don't want to change, don't come to see me?
Well, not quite. No, that's a little harsh. I would say keep coming a few times and let's see what we can work out. Yeah. And then you try to connect with them, try to relate to them. You know, at least, you know, one thing I like about this is that you say what you think. And then, of course, the question I've always asked for a long time, what do you have to lose by trying something? A parent yells at their kids. And I say, well, if you stop yelling for a couple of days, what do you got to lose? Chances are your blood pressure will go down. I don't guarantee that, but it might.
I think a lot of parents want that, right?
Yeah. But so anyway, those are some ways to deal with people who kind of object to the whole process.
Yeah. And then I know also real therapy talk about 5 needs, right?
Yes.
5 needs. You want to tell us a little bit about those needs?
The needs, yeah. Okay, this is in the choice theory, and reality therapy makes it practical. And we say human behavior, which is the car, originates from these 5 needs.
Let's talk about 5 needs. Maybe some people don't know.
The first one is survival, or self-preservation. Your body will generate behaviors to preserve itself, like circulating the blood. And then the other need, and probably the most important one in the work that most of your students do and most of your colleagues do, is the need for belonging or connectedness with other people. And you know that when you have healthy relationships, your problems might not go away, but they become more bearable. And then the third need is power. I like the phrase inner control.
Oh, you like, okay, power or inner control.
In other words, you feel in charge of your life. For example, if you go to the physician and the physician says you're in excellent health, you feel in control of your life. So that's what I mean by power. Not power over somebody, but an inner sense of achievement and accomplishment.
Okay.
The next one is freedom or making choices. We ask people, what choices do you have today? And sometimes people say, I have no choices. And I say, if you had a few choices, what would they be? So the choices or freedom, or another way of looking at it is independence, standing on your own 2 feet.
Then we get to the last one.
And the last one is fun.
Yeah.
And so when you don't know what to do with somebody, you can ask them, when was the last time you really had fun? And in a family, when was the last time you did something together that was enjoyable? The time when there's tension in a family, it's been a long time since they had fun together.
So what do we do? We bring them the fun memory?
Well, we ask them to if they're willing to do something together when they don't argue, when they don't blame each other, and when they don't criticize.
What?
Go to Grater's for ice cream.
That's a good way to get to have
we
fun,
have
right?
we have a company here in this town called Graders, and they have the best ice cream.
Oh.
And I taught Cindy Grater French in high school.
Yeah, she taught the one daughter in high school.
Okay. Okay. Well, I steal a lot of your knowledge.
You can have it all.
So now I think we should conclude this interview. Okay. Do you have fun
Yes.
for this interview?
Oh, this has been enjoyable. Yeah.
So your needs have been fulfilled, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And being with you again.
A sense of belonging.
Sense of
among us.
belonging. Right. So
Yeah.
Sandie, come
Fun.
sit here. You will feel belonging. The end. So love, right? And then, do you feel you're in control for the interview?
Oh yeah. I love talking about this,
Yeah.
especially when somebody's recording it.
Right. And then I'm sure, that phone get to the whole world.
Wow.
What happened?
It
The
goes through
phone.
Oh yes, of course.
You should feel power, not just in control. Power.
Oh
You're so
yeah,
powerful.
a surge of power.
Your power. And then we survive. Because
We made it through.
we make through. And what else?
It was
And
Freedom.
students around the world will see this, right?
Yes.
In
And then
China.
they'll be there forever. In the Facebook, they don't disappear.
Yeah.
Past never passed.
Ah, yes, it's always there.
Yeah.
And thank you, Fang-Mei, for this opportunity, and thanks to all of you who are viewing this, and I hope you will implement the ideas quickly, immediately.
If you want to know more, then you may pick some books and read. The book is popular everywhere you can find it. If you are in Taiwan, you can read my book first.
Yes, and contact Fang-Mei, she will help you.
Yeah, and actually, I'm here to give them my book. Say the book, they give me a lot of good pictures. I include this book. So if you're in Taiwan, you can read this book. Okay, and Sandie, any last words
Thanks
for
to
us?
Sandie, too.
Yes, thank you,
Ongoing
Sandie.
help.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and we enjoyed this. This was fun.
Yeah, Sandie 她也很高兴. Okay, so how do we finish? We say, reality therapy.
Olé.
Reality therapy.
Hooray!
Hooray! Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.